Welcome to the Clinical Podcast Series brought to you by the American Academy of Optometry Foundation and the Clinical Contact Lens and Myopia Care Channel. Today's episode is Exploring Contact Lens Opportunities for Patients Above the Age of 40 Years. I'd like to thank our host, Dave Kading, Topical Editor Andrew Pucker, and Topical Expert Erin Rueff. Now, on with the show.
Thank you for joining us for the AAOF Clinical Podcast Series. My name is Dave Kading. I practice in Seattle, Washington, and I am delighted to be joined by Dr. Erin Rueff. It is a pleasure to have you. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Dave?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to chat with you about some research. First of all, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Erin Rueff. I am currently at the Southern California College of Optometry in Orange County. So I am the chief of the contact lens service there. I teach in the contact lens curriculum. I do research. I just do a little bit of everything there. So
Yeah,
that's where I am.
awesome. Today, we're going to be talking about a newspaper exploring contact lens opportunities for patients over the age of 40. You know, we're there. Erin, I am there. I finally reached the over 40. Why is this topic in this paper important to optometrists? Give us a little bit of an overview of what the background is in this paper.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this paper. I should say, like, full disclosure, presbyopic contact lens wear is probably arguably my favorite part of fitting contact lenses. I think there's so much opportunity there. And this paper is really important for optometry. Depending on, how you're counting, about half of our patients are in the presbyopic age range. And so we really need to be thinking about how we can best serve our presbyopic contact lens wearers. And I've actually done some similar survey studies like this paper where, we just ask presbyopes what they are experiencing with their contact lenses or what they think about contact lens wear. It's easy for eye care providers to make assumptions about what our patients want or are experiencing. But I think evidence like this that tells us exactly what our patients are thinking and experiencing can really help us serve them better. So this paper is really interesting. It surveys a large group of patients who wear contact lenses and don't wear contact lenses, but they're all in the presbyopic age group. And basically what they did is ask these patients what their contact lens experience has been, what they're interested in as far as contact lens wear or spectacle wear, and sort of what influences them on how they pursue contact lens wear or purchase contact lenses. I should note that all the participants in this study were in the UK, Netherlands, Germany, France, Spain, so Europe and the United States. So these are established markets that have somewhat similar regulations as far as contact lens prescribing.
Yeah. So the primary influence patients, who is it that primarily influences patients in the trying of multifocal contact lenses?
Yeah, so that was a question they asked them directly here. And I think this is so interesting and encouraging for us as optometrists that over 60% of the respondents said that the biggest influence on if they're going to try contact lenses is their eye doctor. In a world where we're seeing online eye exams and, we can see patients who feel like they can buy their contacts online, it can feel like we don't have such a big influence on our patients. But this survey really shows that our contact lens wearers or people who might be interested in contact lens wear are really relying on that recommendation from us as eye care providers. So we really need to make sure that we are offering presbyopic options to our patients and making sure that they're educated on what their options are.
Yeah, for sure. So I think in this paper, one of the things that we saw is that the current contact lens wearers, the largest group of the percentage was in the younger groups. And then as they got older, the number of contact lens wearers reduced, right? So I think that's somewhat consistent with what we see happening. But in the group who had never worn contact lenses, the non-contact lens wearing presbyopes that hadn't tried it, what were some of the reasons they gave for not doing contact lenses?
Yeah, the biggest reason for them to not try contact lenses is because no one suggested it to them.
Hmm.
So again, it's just like if you're not offering that to your patient, they won't ask you for it. That's what that really tells me. It's
Yeah.
easy during your, busy day in clinic to, if your patient doesn't ask for, hey, what's new? What are my options, to just kind of say, here are
Right.
your glasses, see you next year. But this really tells me that, patients are interested in what their options are, and
Mhm.
we just need to make sure we're suggesting that. You
Yeah.
mentioned that
Yeah.
the younger group had a higher percentage of contact lens wearers. That's probably, we don't know for sure, but we could make an assumption perhaps that those wearers are less presbyopic, maybe aren't as bothered by the near demands, and we could maybe project that our older presbyopes are dropping out because maybe they haven't been offered a presbyopic contact lens solution. There's been similar studies in the last year or so that have showed that only about 50% of presbyopic contact lens wearers have a multifocal or monovision option, or wearing a So again, this really just underlines to me that, we need to make sure we're offering the very best presbyopic options for these
Yeah.
patients.
What kind of things were motivating people to wear the contact lenses? Like, what are some things that the over 40 population wanted to wear them for?
Yeah. The same things that most people want to wear them for, right? Things like sports, activities, um, work, and like leisure activities. So presbyopes, they're just like everyone else, right? Like
Just
they want
like
the same
everybody.
things that everyone else wants. And so we shouldn't assume that, because you're going into retirement, that you don't want to wear contacts all day. And
Maybe even
we need,
more.
maybe even more. Yeah. Yeah. You're living
Yeah.
your best life, right?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm not retiring yet, but I'm over 40. But the first thing we'll do when I walk into the room, I'm sure like most all of us, is like, I just like, hey, what are you up to? Like, what are you doing? And, whether the patient is 40, 50, 60, 70, it's the same question. And so for those retired people, that's a great example. They may be doing something different. They may not be staring at a computer all day anymore. Those people that are younger, they may have, gotten sick of wearing their glasses. And so it gets that thing. And at one period in time, we challenged ourselves, both my wife and I, when we were young in our practice, is to say to every patient, do you know you would be a great candidate for contact lenses? And I think that goes to that other question, is it had never been suggested to them, right? We just got
Yeah.
to open the conversation, and who knows, what activities these people may want to use them for. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. We've all had those patients that have come to us and said, well, I was told I can't wear contact lenses. And almost every single person who says that, that's not true, right? There's a contact lens for everyone. So
Yeah.
just have to offer it.
I wonder if a lot of, maybe the study speaks to this, but I wonder if a lot of times in the presbyopic group, we're thinking, well, it's not gonna be as profitable for me in my practice. The patients are just gonna always go buy their contact lenses somewhere else or go buy them online. And now we have online things in our practice where we can sell things online to our patients. But where does it say, where are these people getting their contact lenses from?
Yeah, they actually asked them that directly, and the majority were buying lenses from their eye care provider or an optical. So actually, like a
Oh, wow.
brick
Yeah.
and mortar actual optical practice, which again I think is really encouraging for us as optometrists, that this can be profitable for your practice. And I think that's extra notable in this study because it wasn't just the United States; it was multiple countries that arguably might have slightly different systems for how patients can purchase contact lenses.
Yeah.
Um, so this was just a presbyopic sample they surveyed, but what it says about that particular group is that they tend to want to buy lenses from the person who prescribes them, which is great for our practice health, right? And so again, I love this paper. It just really encourages us to always, always, always offer our presbyopes a contact lens option because
Yeah.
they're interested and they're gonna follow through.
Yeah, absolutely. Any closing thoughts? I know we can talk about this for quite a while, but any closing thoughts on the paper that we didn't touch on that you thought were interesting?
No, I think kind of hit most of them. Again, it's just we should walk away from this really encouraged that presbyopes, which are usually a group that people are kind of pessimistic about when we talk about contact lens wear, are actually a really, really great population to, utilize the technology that we have available to us and really serve when it comes to correcting their vision. So
Yeah,
good stuff.
absolutely. Thank you for reviewing it with us. Sure appreciate your insights.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us for the AAOF Clinical Podcast Series. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned. And please share the podcast with other people that you know so that they can be in tune to the latest research happening in eye care.